There has been no support for Counter-Strike 2 workshop tools on Linux so far. It doesn't even work well with Proton or Wine. In fact, if you change Counter-Strike 2 to run with Proton, install the workshop tools and run them, they won't launch at all. I'm here to show you how to at least get the tools running. Before we start, the functionality of the tools is not completely there, and if you're sensitive to flickering, I wouldn't watch this or use the tools on Linux. The viewports in the Hammer editor flicker. Filmmaker's too laggy and also flickers, so it's hard to use. Directory and file permissions are kind of weird and it makes saving files impossible. I think it's something to do with spaces and Proton. Also, the fonts look really bad. There's a fair amount of problems, so now that you're warned, we can start. Counter-Strike 2 does need to be installed obviously, and make sure you leave the compatibility layer as native. You need to make sure you have the workshop tools installed too, so go to the DLC section in the properties of Counter-Strike 2, check the Counter-Strike 2 workshop tools box and let it download. Now you need to download the Counter-Strike 2 Windows binaries. Go to your browser and type steam://open/console into the search bar and then hit the open link in app. If this doesn't work for you, either your browser or Steam is installed as a Flatpak or Snap and they can't see each other. If that's the case, you can launch Steam with the -console parameter. Once you're on the console screen, type download_depot space 730 space 2347771. This installs the Windows binaries of Counter-Strike 2. 730 is the app ID for Counter-Strike 2, and 2347771 is the depot ID for the Windows binaries. It should tell you where it installed the binaries. Navigate to that directory and copy the game folder into the root of your Counter-Strike folder. If you don't know where the root of your Counter-Strike folder is, right-click CS2 in your library, manage, browse local files. Now that that's done with, you need to run the CS2 executable with Proton. There's ways to do this with Lutris and other software, but I'll just show you how to do it with Steam. Go to Games and add non-Steam game to my library. Navigate to your Counter-Strike root folder, Game, Bin, Win64, and add CS2.exe. Go to the properties of the newly added executable, change the compatibility layer to a Proton version, preferably experimental or hotfix. Add the -tools parameter to launch the workshop tools. Then add the -vulkan parameter because it seems to help with some issues. Now you can run it. It might take a few seconds to start, and once it does, it could stall for a while depending on your computer specs. Eventually it should start up along with the game. So in conclusion, if you want to use Counter-Strike 2 workshop tools, stick to Windows for now, as much as it pains me to say. If anyone has found ways to fix some of these issues, comment for others to see and I may do an update video featuring it. And I don't know how to end a video, so I'm just gonna disappear now.